Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. Today I want to share with you a couple of thoughts about when providing liquidity to a specific pair. I'm going to use Cookie and Wrapped Ethereum as an example because for the past 24 hours you see it's 15% down in price. We see that this bleeding started back in January the 7th when the token reached the all-time high. So the token chart overall looks really good. They had like this bullish pump on the beginning of the year and then they went to all-time high. They started bleeding out and I entered the pool here. I thought we were at the floor and it seemed to be the case. So from here on, not only my liquidity pool positions appreciated in price, but also I was generating fees, and this is quite a profitable pool for volume and liquidity because look at the ratio here. Not even a million in liquidity and the volume is twice of that, combining it to be a 1% pool fee tier. So whenever people trade Cookie for Ethereum or vice versa, they pay 1%. That's the fee for using the pool. So overall, I'm quite happy with the performance of it. Although there's going to be definitely other pools which are higher performing, but I like to provide liquidity to some things that I have strong conviction on. So although the price is going down from all-time high and it seems like we're back on this floor again. So I'm not worried about that, because Cookie or Cookie DAO is a AI agents infrastructure project, and the AI agents narrative is tremendously bullish right now on crypto. So Cookie being infrastructure for that, I'm betting it's going to do well long term. And I like how the price chart has been moving. There's no crazy spikes up and down. And so far I have been performing really well on the pool. I was basically compounding and readjusting the balance. So let's say I started around this range and then I went out the range on the upside. What happens is that your Cookie is sold for Ethereum. So if price goes down, I'll be left holding Cookie. If price stays in between your up and lower ranges, you generate fees. So not only I had been generating fees for the most part of the day, but also as the price of Cookie went up, Cookie was being sold for Ethereum. I took those profits, I opened new positions. So I was essentially creating new ranges as the price went up. Now there's also a downside to it, because if the price goes down, of course, your Ethereum is being sold for Cookie, which is the less powerful token, and that's usually where people do mess up. So let me show you that here on Crystal. So this was the top position that I had opened for this pair. Right now I'm holding some unclaimed fees, but my initial deposit, which was over $45 worth of both Wrapped Ethereum and Cookie, is now 100% Cookie. So my Ethereum was sold for Cookie, and this is impermanent loss. So this is just the difference if I had been holding the tokens that I have deposited back here 2 days ago. So this is the worst case scenario for many people. They do panic sell because they look at the profit and loss. They're down, they're not generating fees. So I can show you here under strategies, the current price is 6,900. So what's going to happen is that if price goes back up and goes into my range, this PNL starts to shrink, and at some point it will be on the green. But most people, what they do is that at this point they take out their liquidity, they withdraw their liquidity, and they go back into the pool with a 50-50 range, for example. And that's not the right thing to do, because if you do that, of course, you are locking in impermanent loss. Now you are selling the token at a loss. Remember, I bought in here, I opened the position here, but now, or let me adjust that so you can understand better. So let's say I opened the position here and now the price is down here. So if I take this liquidity and open a 50-50 position here, I am locking in impermanent loss. That's the biggest mistake and the biggest thing I see people do, because they panic sell. Now I'm not worried. Like I said, I have my whole narrative behind why I am investing in Cookie. What I can do now is that I can rebalance, and then I'm not going to withdraw my liquidity. I'm going to rebalance and I'm going to just lower my down range until I meet the price or slightly above the price. It's not gonna cost me anything. I'm not gonna lock in any impermanent loss. I'm not selling anything. I'm just rebalancing and adjusting my ranges. So what's gonna happen is that, number one, I'll have a bigger range, so my APRs will drastically be lower. But it doesn't really matter if I am bullish that the price will go back up. Of course, I could also lower my up range and do something like this with a higher APR. The main thing you want to know is that you don't want to lock in impermanent loss, because effectively that's selling a token at a loss. Yield farming with liquidity pools, it's just the same thing as buying and selling tokens. So you're essentially trading, and the riskier your pairs, the pairs that you choose to provide liquidity will be, the closer you will be to really trading. If you go with lower market cap stuff, you gotta keep an eye on it. And essentially that's the biggest difference when providing liquidity to lower market cap stuff versus blue chip assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if it goes out of range on the downside when using a blue chip pair assets liquidity pool, you'll be left holding Bitcoin, BNB, Ethereum, Solana, for example, and likely you'll feel more comfortable. So for beginners, that's also why I really advise to go with blue chip stuff until you understand how this liquidity pool game works and plays out. Okay. Now, the worst case scenario, of course, is that if the price never goes back up and it keeps falling down, in that case, well, I could keep on readjusting the range and trying to catch that price at some point, but that's going to be worst case scenario. I don't think that's going to happen with Cookie. Let's see. But that's also why if you want to catch volume, it's important to open new positions with profits from other liquidity pools. For example, you see that I have a couple different opened ranges here that I was taking from other pools or other plays that were not performing as well when it comes to fees, and I was opening these ones. They're still quite small because I was testing things out. We were still, let me go back here on the chart, we were still very close to all-time high. So for $150 million market cap, I was still testing the waters, and rightfully so, because now you see that we're basically back on where I started. And you see that this happened in the span of a week. So during a week, this was performing really well. Price went up, now it's going down. There's still a lot of volume, like I said. There's a really good volume to TVL ratio, so I'm not going out of this pool, and in the meanwhile I'm just buying in more Cookie and whatever fees I'm generating with my more solid positions. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close those positions I just showed you, and I'm gonna open them above the current price, because I think, let's go in here with the 15-minute chart. So you see, I think this is going to be the floor, so I'm gonna close those positions, rebalance them, and open a new one. When you open a position above the current price, what will happen is that you only need to deploy Cookie, which is what I have right now. If you, like I showed you, I go here on the position, I'm currently holding 100% in Cookie. So I could close the position and open a new one above this range so I don't lock in impermanent loss, or I could just rebalance and lower my range here until slightly above the current price. So the difference between those couple options is that if I just rebalance and lower my downside, the APRs will be lower. But if the price goes back up to the point where it was when I opened the position, then I will break even, if not before, because we will be generating fees if all goes well and price goes back up within our range. But in the meanwhile, I gotta keep my eyes open. My main liquidity was opened in this range, and now we are back into it. So if price starts going down, although I generated already a lot of fees here, the fees will give me a good cushion for me to manage risk. So even if the price goes to my lower range and now I'm holding 100% Cookie, I'll have some fees that guarantee that I will still be at a profit if I decide to go out of the position right there, or even below the lower side of my range. Mostly the fees that had been generating so far, that's what's going to determine when my PNL goes on the red, okay? So what I could do is I come here under rebalance, and then I put this minimum at 6,100, this one at 7,000. You can see the current price here, 7,007. So I'm gonna go with 020, something along those lines, just to be slightly above the current price. The unclaimed fees will also be compounded into my position. If in your case you don't want that, claim your fees before proceeding to rebalance, otherwise it will compound back into the new position, okay? In my case, like I said, I want to be holding Cookie long run, so I don't mind compounding this into the position. And actually I'm buying more with this Ethereum. So from $32 of liquidity, my new liquidity will be worth 36. And this is at current prices again. I'm hoping for the price to go back up. But now I'm gonna go confirm. You can see there's still 12% worth of Ethereum. That's because of the ticker. So if I click here, I should be out of the ticker. So there you go. My position would be fully made up from cookie. I would go from 69 cookie to 77 because I'm using the unclaimed fees to compound. I hope this shows you why it's important to have conviction when holding a liquidity pool position as well, and also the importance of starting playing with blue chip pools because you will not panic sell, or at least something that you have strong conviction that it will bounce back up. All right, so if you have any questions, guys, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe for more of this type of content. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.